76 years ago, in a village somewhere in Africa, a family of 8, including both parents except a child, died in a day. Buchi, the sole survivor, was born in a family of 7 children, 3 girls and 4 boys. He was the second youngest son and was only 9 years old. As usual, he had left for school that morning with his siblings like other children. After school, he followed his friend Uzo to his father's house in search of mango fruits. Uzo had informed Buchi earlier about his father's mangoes that were ripe in the farm. He expressed his plans to Uzo, which is to store some away before his father would harvest the fruits. His friend Uzo knew him as one who loves mangoes, and as a skillful tree climber, he told him about his plans and invited him over to help him pluck the mangoes. This made Buchi leave school early, immediately after they were dismissed, in company of his friend Uzo. Buchi's siblings returned home from school as usual but did not see him. They were not bothered because it was not the first time such a thing had happened. Buchi would always find his way back home. In the evening that day, he was returning happily with a sack full of mango fruits his friend had given to him in appreciation for a job well done. When he approached his compound, he saw a crowd that had gathered. He was surprised as he was not aware of any ceremony that could call for such a large number of people in his father's compound. As he got closer, he could hear people screaming and crying. There were faces which he identified as relatives and neighbors. He hurriedly inquired, Ogene, meaning what happened. One of his uncles, his father's immediate younger brother Madu, grabbed him by the hand as soon as he saw him and took him away from the scene to his house. He said to him with a commanding voice, Stay with my family, there is evil in the air. Buchi's parents and all his siblings had died from food poisoning that afternoon, from the pot of porridge they ate. Every member of the family had eaten it except Buchi because he was away. Buchi's family were buried in a hurry. There was no ceremony because such death was seen as a bad omen in his village. Madu took Buchi in to live with him. He cared for him just like his own children. Sadly, Madu died in an auto crash 2 years later. This one was when Buchi's life turned around for the worse. Madu's wife, Cecilia, was a narcissistic woman. She perceived Buchi as a cursed child without proof. She was aggressive towards him. She would wake Buchi up early in the morning before sunrise to walk a distance of about 1 kilometer alone to the village stream to get her water, while her children would still be in bed. Buchi would return from the stream to prepare breakfast for her children before he would prepare for school. He was traumatized and longed for his parents to come back to life. Cecilia did not treat him right like his uncle. She always told whoever cared to listen that Buchi was cursed. He could not go on to enroll in high school because his uncle's wife would not allow him, claiming he was good for nothing. At a young age, he had already graduated from his apprenticeship in automobile repair. The job was not lucrative as he was in the village. He managed to survive with it as he earned little to rent a decent house. Later on, he met a lady by name Angela. They became friends at first, later became lovers. Angela was an only child. Her father was late. Her mother was the only family she had as well. This means Angela and Buchi had no siblings. They later got married and gave birth to a son. He had little money to take care of his wife and child as he was struggling. However, Buchi wanted to have a child so badly to continue his family lineage, as he was the only one left in his family bearing his father's name. In a bid to make life better, he met his long-term friend Paul, who returned recently from South Africa, complaining about his struggles and how he wished to make life better for his young family. His friend Paul asked if he could relocate to the city to work for him. He promised to rent a home for his family also. Buchi was so happy and agreed immediately, without asking further detail about what the job entailed. A month after he had relocated, Paul told him to prepare for a delivery to South Africa in 2 weeks, which he would also retrieve an order he made for jewelry. Buchi agreed. He was given enough money for his trip and his family upkeep while he would be away. He earned good money after his first successful trip overseas. He went on additional 5 successive trips and earned good money as well. He had never anticipated he would make such money in his life. He became used to the life of the party, which Paul had introduced him to. Buchi and his now boss hung out at choice places in the city with the creme la creme of the city. He quickly forgot about his sorrows and claimed to his boss like his life depended on him. All his focus was about escaping from poverty. Buchi's wife would ask him about what business he did with Paul. He would not be able to say anything meaningful. Rather, he would say all that mattered was he got paid. This got Angela worried. She felt something was not right, as she cared so much about her young family and would do anything within her power to protect them. On Buchi's last trip, he boarded a public bus from the airport to his usual destination. Unknown to him, he had identical luggage with another passenger. The passenger took Buchi's luggage for his own when he came down from the bus, while Buchi took the passenger's because the tag had fallen off. He headed for his delivery as usual. When he arrived, he could barely knock on the door before the armed DEA cops surrounded the premises. They pointed their rifles at him and asked him to raise his hands up. He was shocked because nothing of such crossed his mind. They ordered him to kneel on the floor with his hands on his head. They approached him carefully, pointing their rifles at him while they searched his luggage. To their surprise, they found nothing incriminating, but only clothes and personal effects, which were not the original content of his luggage. The DEA had Paul on their radar for a long time because he was dealing narcotics. Paul had a tip-off from the street and decided to stop making the trips by himself. This was why he employed Buchi to take the risk on his behalf. Buchi was ignorant of this business. He got orders from Paul and carried them out. The DEA let him go as nothing illegal was found in his luggage. He quickly returned to his family but never said a word to his wife about his ordeal because he was in shock. When he returned, he called Paul severally but could not reach him. He was very eager to see him, so he decided to visit his residence. When he arrived, he was told his friend was gunned down on the same day he was surrounded by the DEA. Buchi returned home in a hurry. He had to open up to his wife about the news of Paul's death and his encounter with the DEA in fear. He made plans and relocated quickly to another city far away. While he was living in another city, he had no peace of mind. He always watched his back in fear of being killed or harassed as late Paul's partner. Thanks to his wife Angela, who saved enough money for the rainy days, she took the young family's financial need on her wings. From the story, you can see that it is important to treat and train your children right, especially teenagers. Their life could turn out for the worse if you do not lay a good foundation for their future as a guardian or parent. The actions of today will determine the outcomes of tomorrow. The end justifies the means, they say. Peace of mind is expensive. Value and cherish it. Stay away from anything that will steal your peace of mind. Thanks for watching my channel. Please share, comment, and like.